All right, the tribulation continues. 44 days into it, and the world continues to spiral downwards. You know, the national debt crisis looms. It's only about 35 days away. There's this date, August 2nd, where they're saying if we don't figure out what's going to happen, something's going to happen. And you know, from what I can see, nothing's going to happen as far as, you know, our elected officials and our president doing something about it. It's just not who Barack Obama is, you know. Plus, he's clueless. So, you know, I think we're set for inflation to kick in and our money to devalue. That's what I'm thinking. You know, what I wanted to just kind of talk about today is part of the tribulation. Definitely, as everything kind of sucks, you know, no jobs, natural disasters, a lot of hate going around out there. It's easy for an individual to lash out at whatever it is. You know, kind of an example of that would be that crazy fool who shot everybody out there in Arizona, including the congresswoman. You know, because that's how it is. Some people, you know, like, they're already kind of prone to being not too mentally stable. So a few things going wrong in their life, or going wrong in general, just like if they pick up on the vibe that everything's going to hell, they decide it's time for them to take action. But, you know, the tribulation, what's happening is an ever growing and increasing tendency is now for people to act with others. You know, basically, you know, the positive form of it all is gathering for a meeting or to protest, to show solidarity, you know. But that's what they usually call a peaceful crowd of people. But as we know, the peaceful crowds of protesters can turn into violence and into rioting hordes. The three-letter word, you know, is mob. The mob mentality. You know, a peaceful crowd can turn into a violent mob. And you know, what I'm seeing is now we've got where there's no peaceful crowd turning into anything. It just starts out a mob and rolls from there. You know, the term flash mobbing, you know, we got commercials. There was a TV show by Howie Mandel, but the whole idea was using technology is to get everybody to mobilize a flash mob, and, you know, on the TV show they'd be dancing. But, you know, in real life, a mob is not usually dancing. You know, there's a term, mob robbing, the mob rob. That's happening more and more. I've seen several instances where it's just a bunch of usually young people running into a liquor store or something and just, you know, cleaning it out. And there's so many of them doing it, the police can't stop it from happening. But, you know, there's an ever increasing force in our society of people mobilizing in a mob type fashion. And, you know, a couple of things about mobbing, you know, because that's where it turns to violence. Somebody gets hurt, a riot. A mob is usually motivated by some kind of basic negative energy, you know, fear, panic, desperation, anger, hate. But the most dangerous thing about a mob is that the actual reasoning, which is very little, but the information that the mob is basing their mobilization on is usually fueled by innuendo or false information, or unconfirmed information. And therefore, all of a sudden you get this huge force in motion, saying, get that person, But, man, from the unions across the country, kind of mobilizing, and I'm not saying the unions are a mob, but I've seen them come right up to the edge of mobbing. And they seem to be very easily pushed to where they're kind of yelling, and they seem fairly agreeable to go to the violence portion of the whole thing. But I think that's what we're going to see more of in our society. More MOBilization, especially people that are desperate, mobilizing for food, mobilizing because you got no money or no job. Desperation is a huge motivator. But, it's a dark day for us because, 100 years ago, they'd call it the lynch mob, because people would grab a rope and a pitchfork and a torch with fire, and they'd want to string somebody up. That's what it usually ends up with. The end result of a mob, somebody gets hurt. So I'm just going to keep my eye on it. But I think sinister forces are actually using the new dynamic. They want it. Kind of like the anarchists, or I think there's other dark forces that, in order to disrupt a government, or, what, soon it might be focused directly at, a business or a religion or a group of people, See, that's where that leads. And, we said never again. But this tribulation, to me, looks like we're steering towards again. And that's not good. So I'm going to think positive. Two things I know. One is trying to have the positive, a peaceful protest, but, to mobilize in a positive way to get positive outcome. And that's what confronting's all about. Because when you're confronting, you're not causing negativity, but you're confronting negativity. And to me, what's going to take the most fortitude and courage in the tribulation is if you have a negative mob standing in front of you and you stand tall to stop the mob. But the day is coming. Let's think positive. I'm going to go out there and get my tribulation on, see what's going on in the world today. Everybody, keep your chin up. And most importantly, keep on rocking. Peace out, man.